Hello Hero, it's Lucy Lannon back for Love Transmission. I want to say number 4, but I'm kind of losing count at this point. I've done a group of love readings this time around just because I had a little time away from the channel. See my collective reading ramble for more details on why. But I do apologise if you're waiting for a love transmission last month or the month before. And this is my way of saying thank you for sticking around with me. And here's like a backlog of love videos that you can tap into whenever you feel drawn to each one. On that, these are general readings, so they will have some stuff that hits home for you, some stuff that won't, because I'm reading for quite a large audience in the end, I hope. And they are for my collective, but if you're stumbling upon this on the internet and it does resonate, then maybe you're meant to be part of my collective, in which case please do like and subscribe. What else do I want to say? With this one in particular, something I heard kind of before I started filming with this will be marriagey. So maybe you're in a marriage. If you're not, and I think for the vast majority of people watching love readings, you're probably not yet, then just be aware that if marriage isn't something you're considering or that your person might consider, this is not the one for you, and you need to go to my love transmission playlist and pick a different number. There will absolutely be one that is right for you. It just might not be this one. I also have a series that I call my Marseille Mini Lucky Dip, where we go from A to Z through the alphabet in terms of picking out random words that we take a reading on. Many of those are love readings, and I'm hearing that if the marriage thing doesn't hit for you, then there will be something in the A to Zs. Right. So marriage, you're thinking about it, or they're thinking about it, or it's just something that is relevant in some way. What I also want to say is to my sneaky people in the background there who are hiding their heads and are going, well, I didn't think I wanted marriage, but now you said it, I'm curious as to whether they do. Yes, this is absolutely your reading. Hi. So yeah, that might be a thing as well. We will see. Okay, so this is the Tarot of the Divine. I should have said that to begin with. We are on camera. Let me just move my selenite to show myself where we end. Death. Ooh, showing myself where we end. Is there a sense of... what's the word? Where you merge with somebody in a potentially unhealthy way. It'll come to me. It's like a term that we use in psychological circles. Enmeshment. Yes, there is possibly a sense of enmeshment within this if it's an established connection. If not, then there may be something sort of imposing on this connection which has an enmeshment vibe to it in some fashion. Whether that's that this person is enmeshed with a family member or an ex or a friend or something else. We'll see. So, yes, to get back to it. 5 of Cups, Death, Knight of Cups, the Hermit, 2 of Coins and the Star. All in the upright, even though I did shuffle for reversals. So, I don't think there's much... There's not much confusion in this. I don't read reversals as confusion. But I know that many of the people who watch my videos see a reversal and sort of, from misinformation from other readers, they might go, oh no, so many reversals, this is really blocked or whatever. And I'm saying if you respond to that energy, or if that could have been you at one stage, even if you know better now, then, you know, there's no blockage, there's no confusion. And I want to set that as the kind of ground statement before we dive in. Okay, give me one moment just to look over these in combination. For some of you, the last love transmission that I released before this with the Fallen Angels Oracle deck may also be for you, but only if you resonate with that deck. It's just there's some similar vibes said in a different way with this. Wow, you've been through it. there's a really specific narrative coming through for some of you. And I almost don't want to say it, but I feel like I have to in case it does apply somewhere. Yeah, I'm just going to say it. This isn't for all of you, so don't click off if it's not you. But if this is a marriage for a group of you, this is a really good marriage and a strong couple who have lost a child or who have had a child unable to be born. In which case, I'm so sorry. And I mean, I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling if that's the case. But there is some stuff around that within this partnership that needed me to acknowledge that that might be a reality. So I'll read for you and I'll read for everyone else, but just know that if that is the case, my heart goes out to you, and I will be lighting candles immediately after this reading for your recovery, recuperation, for the strengthening of your relationship. Okay. Whether or not that is you, there's someone specific you have in mind here, I can say that. And if you don't have a specific person in mind, this is not your reading. And I would go to any of the other, like I say, love transmission readings, or pick a card A to Z. Both are separate playlists on my main page. Within this connection, I want to say you have had a period of grief, loss, literal bereavement for many of you, or the losing of an aspect of your life that felt like it was so much part of your core identity that you kind of don't know how to function now. And I think with this image of this person pulling back the veil and the sort of the difference between the perceived thing behind it and the actual, and the fact that the actual is so much bigger than this figure here, without even remembering which folkloric tale this is, I'm sorry, there's a sense that this loss was huge for you in a way that you didn't anticipate. Like, you may have seen that there was a loss, you may have seen that there was the closing down of a cycle, or even the loss of a literal person, but I don't think you knew how much it was going to punch you in the balls, ovaries, or other, please specify. This sucker punched you like fuck. And it's appropriate to use curse words, because fucking hell, you've been through it. And I feel there is a sense within which, with this I want to say Llorona or Llorona, my pronunciation is awful, I'm sorry, but I think it's that tale. There's a sense of being dragged down to the depths again of what this is, almost as if like you regain your footing, you start to see your upright cups in the kind of traditional sense, you start to see the benefits as well as the things that you've lost. And then as soon as you're back on your feet, and as soon as you're like, well, I did learn this skill, or I did become a stronger person, or whatever, it's like the circumstances are pulling you back in. It's like it hits you all over again, and you just can't stand. You can't function. It may feel like you're crying kind of a river of tears here, with the person crying and the wet hair as well. It's like, it makes me think of Alice in Wonderland and the Veil of Tears. Well, Through the Looking Glass technically, but that might hit for some of you. I'm hearing some of you played the game as well, the American McGee's Alice. Back in the day, if you're of my generation, you will remember that one. That's just confirmation if it's you. But yeah, whether this is a circumstance or a job or an identity that you've lost, or whether it is a literal bereavement that came out of the blue and knocked you for six, it was devastating, unexpected, and you feel like you're not yourself because of this. And what happened next was that your partner, or the person you have in mind, came in like a knight on a white charger and just saw to it that you would be okay. And that's really like the eagle, to me, it can be scorpionic, so that may hit, but it's also about the long view, right? And the donkey is about tenacity, stamina, long journeys. It's also about kind of messianic pilgrimage vibes. It's a long-lived, sturdy, I will carry this for you. The gap in the footprints is where I carried you type of energy. Donkey energy is just bloody lovely. For some of you, I'm hearing donkey sanctuary as well. So you may have worked with donkeys, but for many of you, this is just speaking to the nature of this person coming in and being like, listen, we're in this together. I can help to carry you. And them taking the long view from a spiritual sense, them and this eagle, like notice their third eye placement is aligned. They are seeing their world with eagle eyes, as in they are seeing the long-term perspective, even if they are in this emotion with you, even if they're underwater with you, right? The emotionality is echoed, which is again part of the reason why I say for some of you, you're a couple who've lost a child, and I'm so sorry. But whatever it is, it's like they feel... They may just be a really empathic character if they're not in the same situation as you, and if they've not lost a figure or a position or whatever it is that they feel the same about. It may just be that they have this like blended, almost Piscean quality of like, I feel what you're feeling also so deeply, and I'm right there with you, buddy. And the difference between you and me in that shared grief is that I'm able to say to you, let's look long term at this. Let's not just be thrown by it. Let's actually look how to cope and how to stay strong and carry all of this long into the future, instead of trying to survive in the present moment, which I feel you've had difficulty doing. For some, this is also the dissolution of a marriage or a relationship or something that you had where you were particularly close, and this person's perspective back to you was, you know, I didn't expect this to finish any more than you did, but we have to think long term, we have to look long term, we have to have a certain strength through our emotionality. And there may, if that does hit for you, there may be like a juxtaposition between this person's ability to just carry on in your eyes, excuse me, throat chakra. Bloody hell. Someone's having trouble speaking up. Wish I brought a drink now. Gonna hold some labradorite there. Yeah, there's a real gap between what you feel is them carrying on fine, which may or may not be because my throat just kicked in. I don't think they are fine. I think they communicate differently. Or can't communicate. And then you feeling that you can't stay on your 2 feet, you can't stand. I'm hearing the words, I can't stand my life now. I'm really sorry if this is you. But, you know, be it a relationship, be it a person, be it a child, be it a job, a situation, there is an overwhelming grief in this reading. And this person has come in partly in a way that is trying to help you cope successfully for many of you, and partly in a way that's like, no, we need to take a long view here. And crucially, your reaction to that has been to go into hermit mode and be like, I can't view things the way that you're viewing them right now. I don't feel that strong, or I disagree with this decision, or I can't integrate what has happened to us into my spiritual worldview. For some of you, you can't believe that a reality in which this would happen is one that you can accept. And I'm so sorry if that's you, and thank you for coming to me if it is. And I hope that we get you to a better position through this reading, excuse me. But whatever case it is, however close you are, however involved this person was in your loss, and however large scale or small scale your loss was, I feel that your reaction to their kindness is to say, hey mate, I need to take a minute. I'm sorry, I'm just not. If I communicate with you right now, I'm going to communicate in a way that is like coming off as reactive or bitchy, or says things I don't mean, or says things about the world that I don't mean, or just has a breakdown in some cases. Like, it's very much like, I need space from this and therefore from you. And I don't even think you've disagreed with what they've said about it necessarily. I think it's more that you're like, if I don't take some time away from responding to this right now, I'm going to explode, or I'm going to lose my footing altogether and just drown in this. The white heart in this will have different significations for all of you. And there was, again, in the Fallen Angels reading for the Love Collective, there was also like stag and heart imagery, so that may hit. But for me in particular, there is, I'm in, I guess what you would call a twin flame thing. And one of the recurring dreams that I've had a few prophetic dreams within it that have sort of prepared me for different stages of it, or just confirmed that I'm in tune with this person in a weird way, where like they need to be in a certain part of the world and I have a dream about that part of the world out of the blue, or, you know, whatever. But one of the recurring dreams that I had to help me with it from Spirit was that, God, this is really personal. I hope you, I hope they're all right with me saying this. In terms of the higher self. Yeah, they are. Okay. I'm just going to say it. One of the dreams I had, we were in a place that we like to go, or that we would like to go. We were making out. Stuff was happening. Quite spicy stuff. And then they sort of looked behind me, and a massive stag was stood there. I experienced like, oh wow, what a wonderful animal encounter to affirm us making out and being together. They experienced absolute fucking terror. And I've never really seen this person be scared in real life. I've seen a few reactions with them because we've known each other many years. But fear is not something I associate with them. So for them to be terrified of this stag in the dream is like, oh wow, this is a big deal for you, isn't it? This is like a developmental bit for you. And then in the dream, after sort of being terrified and clutching me and being just utterly frightened of this, the stag kind of walks off with my person, and they know they have to go with it, and they're crying and they're frightened and they're saying, I'll come back. But they know that this is like a necessary, it's almost like this, the stag is their like Mondo Shawan, their guardian, their, for them in particular, maybe even a certain spirit that they're aware of, but they're being taken off with this thing. And I feel in the dream that I'm conscious that it's an initiation thing, and I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll chill here. And I do. And, you know, I sort of play with the flowers, I watch the sort of twilight and the stars rise, and it's all very comfortable. And then when this person comes back from being off with this stag, they are just so changed. so changed. And so vibrant. And I mean, they're vibrant anyway, that's why I'm attracted. But they are just, if they were sun in my chest energy before they went away, when they get back, it's like, woof. Now, the reason I relay that to you, and the fact that I always wake up happy from this dream, and that this connection has been very twin flamey for me, it's not always been a happy one. And there have been obstacles where either one of us have gone away and off to different things and come back again. The reason I sort of tell you in such intimate detail is because I feel that this is actually what's happening with you. You are going off with your white stag. You are going off into the woods. You have perhaps been very contented around or with this person up until this thing happened. And this thing is, in a way, if it's not your teacher itself, and something that's coming to me is the red-eared bull in the Scottish Cinderella, so that may hit. But if it's not your guardian, your bull, your heart itself, it's to do with the process of your initiation into a new cycle, into a new level of being. I want to say into a new responsibility as a healer for other people who have gone through this or are going through this. And I think part of your resistance to talking about this with this person is that they can't be part of that journey, right? I couldn't go off with my twin flame and their stag and show them how to do it and be like, it's fine. Spirit animals turn up all the time in magic, and I know just what we're doing and I know how to deal with it. I could not hold their hand. They had to go off and do it themselves, and I had to be all right with the terror in their face at what they were about to do on a spiritual level, right? So if you're in a twin flame paradigm, this may hit as them going off in separation and then them coming back to you, or vice versa. Probably you going off, actually. But if you're not in that kind of dynamic and this is a marriage or this is a long-term partnership that you're secure in, I feel that you kind of shutting down from being emotionally engaged with this person is your way of leaving off from this cycle in order to face the big bad, which is this thing here. And what I want to tell you about that is that it's safe. What may have happened to you may have been awful, right? Throat again. So you're having trouble communicating the scale of this to anyone. I'm so sorry. Whatever it was, it's a big fucking terrifying thing to deal with, or it wouldn't have made me think of that dream. And the empathy I had for that person who I've never seen scared, the person who stops me from being scared, actually, of many things, being utterly terrified. And I think that's what your person is experiencing as well. I think they're, in my perspective, they're watching you and they're seeing you go grey and lose it and start crying and start being like, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to function now. Even in a smaller scale way, you know, I don't know who I am without this job. I don't know who I am if I don't live here, or if I don't have this friend, or whatever it is, right? They're looking at you and they're being like, I know I can't hold your hand with this, but it terrifies me that it terrifies you, because you are my strength. So what next? What after you go off with it? If I tell you that it is safe to go into the dark with this, and believe you me, I did not see something this big scale coming into a Love Collective reading. So it is safe, or I wouldn't be having to tell you, right? You are meant to stumble upon this and hear this transmission from me. But if you do go with it, if you do heed my advice and you see the stars that the other person is watching, sitting contentedly waiting for you to get back, right? Get back. If you do follow it, what happens is you feel that you're juggling things for a while, right? There's disparate and different aspects of your life that are a little tricky to sort of manage at the same time with all this going on. And with this child imagery, it may be, if the big message hit, please comment if it did. If that was true for you, this may literally be juggling the memory of somebody that you've lost with your day-to-day existence, with your day-to-day life, with you marching along the ground of everything else. And like, as well as kind of nurturing, I'm noticing that the face of this character, the way the eyebrows are drawn, could almost be woeful. So it's like you're either this is a sadness about a direct entity which was lost that you wanted to care more for or have more time with, or it's like you wanting to care for your inner child and having to juggle that with your daily life. So this could be related to like childhood trauma and stuff as well, or at least with self-concept stuff. There is a reading on my channel for that. And then with the bear child being involved, this is an echo of this white heart energy. This is your spiritual self coming through and saying, hey, we're all right. And it's talking to both of you. It's guiding both of you. It is both human and non-human in the way that spirit so often presents to us. So you may feel that you have a particular guide or ancestor that you do communicate with, and this may be representative of them. But it's saying to both you and the thing that you've lost, or the inner vulnerable part of you that feels it's a loss, we're all right. And this bear is really chatty as well. It's like quite a joyful card, even though it's signifying a difficult thing. So I do think you're going to be okay. But I think your instinct is correct that you have to do this bit of the journey kind of alone. And if that means a temporary separation for some of you, then just know that you will come back to the place that you were in. And what I would say is during that separation, express your gratitude for this person's long view and their stability and their emotional empathy towards you. Because they are an absolute diamond in the rough. They are. I love this person's energy, I really do. And it's not just because I identified with this bit of the dream, because before that came up, I was kind of like, oh, I like this guy. So I love their energy. Make sure you're being grateful for that energy. I don't want to label you with another thing to do, but I think that if you want to come back to this partnership, it's important to be grateful for it in a demonstrative, communicative way now. And then maybe to say, you know what, I do need a bit of time alone. And for some of you, again, broad audience, that will be a few months to yourself living under separate roofs. And for others of you, it will be a couple of days away from someone that you're just texting or you're just meeting up with. You know, apply it as you see fit, but there is a separation needed here. You know it, they know it, and they're okay with it, so long as they know that you're likely to come back to them, that you will return from the stag. I wonder how I would have reacted to this dream had my partner not come back at the end of it and been fine and better. Had they just gone away in this fearful state and then I woke up, I think I would have freaked out. And maybe that's why it had to be a recurring motif, so I got that it was always going to be okay, right? And again, if you are in a twin flame or soulmate journey, it may hit that sometimes people have to go off and see to karmics and all the rest of it. I don't like that word, but I'm going to have to use it because it's relevant for some of you. And that is a part of that process. And it doesn't mean you're any less suited to each other. It just means that, like, you each have to go off and do your job for a bit, right? And you may come back in a different context even. Certainly in the reality that the original stag dreams were mirroring at first, we went off and did our own thing and then came back as a friendship, and then that's sort of grown. So it, you know, things change form, but the core quality remains, and I want you to remember that. Especially as you've got a lot to juggle right now, as have they. And then the eventual outcome is the star. Wow. What a feeling in contrast of safety, security, sacred connection, especially with the lamb, right? This is like the white animal as well. It's echoing this. It's like transcendent energy. It's very... I'm not a Potter person because I sort of discovered witchcraft as other people were reading Potter and went, nah. But it's very Patronus-y. So that may resonate for some of you. But it's certainly like, I feel this is you, any gender, and I feel you're looking to the heavens and being like, I get it now. I get why I had to go off. And I can't tell you as an easy shortcut in a collective love reading, which was meant to take 10 minutes or so. I can't give you what this process is going to be or why it is that you'll be so thankful for it in particular, because everybody's journey is so different. But I can tell you that you will experience a gratitude spiritually from this, as well as just physically, and that you will be able to return to your emotional life, see the toe dip back into the water, and maybe even return to this person pretty promptly with a complete reevaluation of self. The stars that were faint here and required me to tell you to trust in the process are huge here. We are closer than ever to heavens, right? To God, if that's part of your paradigm. There's also the sense that this is like a sort of, it's beautiful, but it's like a barren forest walking into the dark at night. And then in this one, there is a forest, but it's also a beautiful garden. It's abundant. It's fulfilling. There's more nuance to it. There are many gifts that have grown out of this, which weren't visible before. So again, with the calling of like, whatever this thing is that you've lost, in some way processing it by yourself is going to help you to help others which is in the end what we're kind of here for, and indeed what we enter into connections for, particularly significant connections, would-be marriages. If you were here at the beginning and you heard me say marriage and you were like, a little interested though, this person, I think, has it on their mind. I think maybe you might have had this ending not happened. And again, this could be an ending with them, with someone else, to do with them, not to do with them. It's a collective reading. If you want a private reading with me, I can get into that, right? But it's almost like it doesn't matter which end of the scale you're at between I'm casually talking to someone and I lost something I'm not massively fussed about, but it stopped us from talking and they're pissed. Or not pissed, but they're hesitant. All the way over to the spectrum of I'm in a long-term marriage, this person is my soulmate and we lost our child and they're dealing with it better than me and I feel like a separation is needed. Wherever you are on that spectrum, and you know it's a broad spectrum, right? You are going to come back to this with a feeling of deep renewal, acceptance of circumstance, evolution past the point of I can't cope and into the point of I'm so fucking strong I help other people cope. I help other people transcend. I am the white heart that leads other people into the woods to face what it is that's happened to them too. And honestly, there can be no greater goal for people viewing this channel, right? To eventually transcend your circumstances, whatever they are, to the extent that you become some kind of spiritual teacher. That you become a role model if spiritual paradigms don't hit. And certainly to the sense that you're connected with your inner self and your spiritual self. And that you will return to emotionality with reciprocity as a result of having done your healing. But if you came to this to say, should I leave to heal? It's an absolute yes. You do need to take that time. And I think that this person will understand, actually. Particularly if you are sort of grateful for what they brought you so far. I think they understand the extremity of this for you. And they need to go on their own journey as well. Notice how they're not facing this way, right? You're going in similar directions, but it's not quite the same eye line. So they're also processing their stuff. They're, again, with the throat stuff, they're maybe not able to talk about it in the way that you do. But I do think you'll come back together. I just think that there's a need now for you to concentrate on yourself and love this person, perhaps from a distance, and know that they love you also. And that they will absolutely wait for you to be back from this process. But that whatever is gone, there needs to be some kind of funeral for it, right? There needs to be some kind of process of acceptance around it being over now. That's done now. Even if it was a split from this person and we're just referring to a part of your relationship that needs to be laid to rest, a phase of it that's like, I'm saying goodbye to this, and then you have to have a split for a bit. I do think you'll come back round to each other in whatever way. And I think that the reason you've seen this today is to hear from me that this split, this hermit mode of you for a little while, you can absolutely trust in it, and Spirit is going to guide you. If you're drawn to any other readings elsewhere on my channel, by all means tap into those. If this resonated for you, again, I'm here with you. Ask anything you want. Hit me up on my Etsy if you want to sort of know what you should get, where you should go with this, just my thoughts, whatever. If you don't want to pay for anything, that's absolutely fine. Do like and comment if you enjoyed. Do subscribe if that, feels like a good action for you. But whatever you do, take time for yourself, give gratitude, know that you are safer than you think you are at the moment. There is nothing to fear, okay? You're going to be able to juggle this, and you're going to come out on the other side as a version of yourself you could not see coming. It is just glorious, okay? Take care.